next one is the maxilla. Okay, maxilla is the upper jawbone. There are two. The alveolar process, of course, and then up in the face, above the alveolar process, and the part of the face are the large sinus cavities called the antrum of Highmore, or maxillary sinuses. These are the largest sinus cavities in your body, in your face, and oftentimes cause a great deal of misery for folks who have allergies especially. Okay, then the last part is underneath the mandible. When you look up under the mandible, you'll see that there's a bony plate that forms a hard palate in the upper part of your mouth. Okay, and the part of the maxilla that forms that, and that's the anterior portion of the hard palate, is called the palatine process. Okay, so that's the maxilla. Leave it right there. You'll see, continuing that, you'll see that the back portion of the hard palate, okay, going back towards the foramen magnum, okay, is the horizontal plate of the palatine bone, and it also forms a part of the hard palate. So the hard palate's made up partly from the maxilla and partly from the palatine bone. Okay, then on the side of the skull, we turn it to the side, you'll see a cheekbone, usually referred to as cheekbones. Okay, and those cheekbones are called zygomatic bones. And the most important part for us, the only part for you to identify, is that part that comes out of the zygomatic bone and goes over towards the temporal bone. And that's called the temporal process of the zygomatic bone. And together they form the lacrimal, the temporal arch. Okay? And then the last part are not the last part, but two other parts are the lacrimal bones. The lacrimal bones are easily seen on plastic skulls, and they have actually a hole in them. You can probably see that on that skull. I lose my cap. Okay, and where that hole is where the lacrimal bone is, and that's called the lacrimal duct, and forms a tube that goes out into the nasal cavity called the nasolacrimal duct. And carries tears from the eyes down into the nasal cavity. Makes your nose run when you cry. That kind of thing. Okay? The next one are the two really small bones up here on the bridge of the nose. Those two small bones in the bridge of the nose are called nasal bones. They are oftentimes broken in people that have lots of fights. So if you see somebody with a flattened nose, their nasal bones have been broken, and you should beware, because these folks oftentimes like to fight. Okay, then inside, the vomer is the lower bone at the bottom. It's actually easy to see on these plastic ones, right down here where my finger is. Okay, so that bone forms the lower portion of the nasal septum. It is an important bone in terms of the skull, but in terms of you guys identifying this, it's a harder one to identify because it looks like it all runs together down there. Okay, but that's where it's found. Tend not to put that on a pin test because it's very difficult to pin, just to let you know that. Okay, you got me on film. Say that. Okay, then inside the nasal opening, inside the nose hole, so to speak, the nasal opening, you'll see on the sides of the nasal cavity, you'll see some scrolls of bone. Okay, the lowest ones are called the inferior nasal septum. These are separate bones by themselves, inferior nasal septum. And what they do is to cause the air to swirl around inside the nose to allow it to get warmed up before it goes, very cold air goes into your lungs, or cool down before very hot air goes into your lungs. Okay? And the last ones are the inner ear bones, which you cannot see. We don't have it in any of these plastic skulls, and these are the ones inside your ear. And they are actually bones. Okay, and that's the malleus incisive. And each of those are found in each ear, so there's two of each of those. Okay, so those are the bones of the skull. Okay, all the bones of the skull. And the sutures that you should know in the skull, I give you two. There are four. I give you two four that we usually sometimes talk about. But in this class we're not. One is down between the parietal bones, right down in the center, the top. That's called the sagittal suture. Okay, and the one between the frontal bone and the parietal bone right here are called the coronal sutures. Okay, I don't give you this one, but it's interesting. And that is the one between the occipital bone and the parietal bone. That's called the lambdoidal suture. Is that cool? Lambdoidal. Don't need to know. Okay, the other thing though you should know is before these bones solidify, that is when the baby is born, it has a large soft spot at the point where the sagittal suture and the coronal suture meets, right here. And it's not hardened bone yet, it's still membranous. And it is, those are called fontanelles. This is called the frontal or anterior fontanelle. I like to think of those as future sutures. Okay, anyway, there's also one back here at the lambdoidal suture and sagittal suture where it meets. And so that's a back there. That's a posterior fontanelle. Sometimes there will be small pieces of bone that are cut off in these sutures, and those are actually bones, but we don't count them towards the 207 bones in the body, and those are called wormian bones. Okay? That's it for skull. All right, moving on to the vertebrae.